One thing is certain, that the soul that has decided to come out of his shell to share his truth or to speak his truth is going to go through a lot, okay? We are the ones that are going through the real-time tribulations, okay? So when we say tribulations and persecution of the believers, we are talking about those that have decided to stand in alignment with nature, to those that have connected to nature, to those that nature has seen them, okay? Those are the people that are the true believers, because they believe, they don't just believe, but they know the integrity of nature and how it embodies all spirituality. There is nothing without nature. Nature is everything. So for somebody that has decided to come out of his shell to share the truth about nature to the world is going to go through a lot of tribulation. Whatever that you see in the scriptures, I told you that you are not just going to take it as words. When you turn it upside down, you find the truth that it is talking about those who are the earth savers, right? Listen, if you are able to pick a cricket out of your room and bring it outside, or if you are able to pick a spider and then you didn't kill the spider, but you decided to bring the spider outside for the spider to be out there instead of killing it, then it means that you have seen something that the world hasn't seen, right? Because it is serious. The people are in an amnesia state and they don't
even nature, right? Okay. I remember a time when I was still at the farm going through the awakening phase of mine. And there's a time when I had just woken up and my cabin is like wood cabin, right? I'm in bed still. I'm like still groggy, still trying to get out of bed, and then there's this bam on the front of the cabin, and I'm thinking to myself, what was that? You know, so I'm not even like worried so much, and I'm like, "Ah, maybe it will happen again, and then I'll go outside to check what it is." But then soon after, I hear mother's voice saying, you know, calling me. And my mother, when I'm saying mother's voice, I mean Elohe, you know, Mother God, that is. And she's like, wake up. And I'm like, what? She's like, wake up, Destiny. And I wake up, and he's like, go outside. I'm like, go outside. Only after a few seconds, I remember, yeah, man, I had a bang now. What's going on? Right? So I get dressed and I'm like so slow at it. And anyway, I decide to go outside. I'm opening the door, right? Slowly, so because I can't see. I don't have like a lot of windows there. I can't see exactly what's in the front of the cabin. Eventually, I get out. I open the door, and there's nothing. It's just my car standing in front there, and there's really nothing. A morning just like any other morning. And I'm asking myself, what were they asking me to see? So something tells me, okay, just get out and go and check around the cabin and see if you can't see anything. And I do that. I walk out and I see around the cabin, nothing happening. I come back and I'm about to get into the door again, back in again, because I'm thinking, I was probably just dreaming, right? Perhaps even the banging on the cabin was a dream. But then as I'm approaching the door and I'm about to get into the house or the cabin, there on the ground next to the door, not in front of the door, but just next to the door on the other side, not on the side that I'm standing, is a snake. Small snake. Not small, but sizable snake. And I'm like, damn it. So I'm standing there. I'm actually having my, my fist on my waist, like, what the heck? How did you get here? But it's standing exactly where I heard a bang, right? Like on the side of the cabin where I had a banging there. And I'm like, who threw this? It's as if like somebody threw that thing against the cabin. So anyway, I'm just like so used to a lot of bullshit in that environment that I don't question a lot. I'm like, whatever, they're just trying to scare me, right? So I'm like talking to my mother, and my father's like, what is this now? What do I do now? My mother's like, you're gonna have to kill it. And I'm like, you want me to kill it? Because I had seen this snake a couple of times around the cabin, right? Around the yard and stuff. And I just left it alone and it would leave me alone. But today, it's just standing there. And the funny thing is, it's not basking in the sun like I usually see that. It's just trying to bask in the sun, right? It's in the shaded area this time. Mother's like, you're gonna have to kill it. I'm like, kill it? It's like, yeah, you're gonna have to kill it. And this is my mother, godmother. I mean, my mother in heaven, God, the architect. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, you're gonna have to kill it. So they're giving me the impression that if you don't kill it, it's been around your home for a very long time, right? And they're using it. They're saying. Then I had a vision, as I'm standing there, of my father saying, they're gonna send a snake to your place. It's not a snake. It's not a real snake. It's not a real person. It's not a real snake. It's sent by someone else. Like, I think it was my sister who sent it. And then I'm like, what am I supposed to do then? It's like, don't worry, your mother will be there with you. That's my father, God the Creator. So I go at the back and I go and fetch a rake. And I come back and I'm like, I'm looking for something long, right? Where I don't have to get near this thing. And it's not exactly, normally people would get like a shovel or something because it's easier, it's quicker. But you have to get a little bit close to it. So I'm like, I'm not going to try that. I want something long. So I get it. And then my mother's like, hit it. And I'm like, hit it? She's like, yeah, hit it. And I'm like, damn it, I have to do this? It's like, yes, you have to. So I whack it the first time, right? And I land the rake on the side, like with the rake on the side. And I landed below the head. And I'm like, damn it, I hit it. Mother's like, whack it again. Hit it again. And I'm like, again is like, it's not dead. And I went again. And funny thing is, I hit the same spot that I hit last time. And I'm like, okay, mother's like, whack it again. And I whacked it again. This time at the end, right? Towards the end of the tail. And then I'm like, mother's like, yeah, I think it's dead now. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, it was like a very adrenaline rush kind of a thing, right? And I'm like, my goodness, I just killed the snake. I used to kind of like kill snakes when I was young. But it was because of I was a child. I wasn't so afraid of them. I used to chase them and find them and kill them, right? Because my home where I grew up is like on a what do you call the foot of a mountain kind of a place. So this before the snakes kind of like understood that people had moved in there. They were still there a lot, and you would find snakes every once in a while, and especially if you had like bricks or stones nearby, right? Um, you would find them. So at home we had like they had bought like a, I don't know what you call it, but it's like bricks, and they had they were waiting for some project at home. So they would sit there, these snakes. They would live in the between those bricks, and every now and then we would find one, and we have to kill it. My grandmother used to be like, "You have to kill it." My grandmother, the one that is fragmenting now, she's actually the one who told me not to be afraid of the snake, and to whack it, to kill it. It's like, okay. So we used to kill a lot. Like he should show me. She's like, "No, it's nothing. This thing, just kill it." And I would do that. And I grew up killing snakes. So the worst part about it is when this guy's talking about nature and not killing, I also had the same idea as well, that my father and my mother wouldn't advocate for something like that. However, I still think that it's not that they wouldn't mind. It's not that they are advocating for killing of anything. However, when you are in danger, you're going to have to uh, respond in that way, in a way that not to kill, but to defend yourself. And I had the snake being sent to my house to obviously do something. I used to leave it alone, but that day when it banged on the cabin, because I believe that's what banged on the cabin, it was very odd, and it seemed as if like they were going to keep doing this. Like one day I'm going to find it inside the cabin if I'm not careful. So my mother's like, this thing has been going on around you for a long time. You're gonna have to kill it. So I killed it, right? However, that's just the idea. You take whatever you want from it. What I'm saying is, it's not to say that you should go around killing stuff, but the idea of nature in a way of um from what he's talking about, it sounds as if like this alignment that they're talking about is alignment with nature. And I'm like, okay, nature is also a program, right? It's a program written by God the creator. So aligning with that in a way as to uh I don't know, believe that by aligning with it, it serves your spirituality in some way. um I'm not so sure about that. I think that alignment has always to be with God himself, right? The nature part of it is for me another physical um practice that you do, that is respect all things, right? In on earth, beings, animals, and nature. But do you have to align with nature in that way? Are you aligning with it for spiritual? What exactly? Because it's confusing. What is nature going to do for you in that way when you're a program? Because it's also a program, right? It's also programmed by God. Earth is a program. The nature on it is are programs. The beings on it are programs. So I'm listening to this, and I'm like, ah, there they go again, starting with another concept. That is a concept of worshiping or aligning in some way with anything else but God. That is now they're going to align with nature, that is. And I'm listening to this, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm done with these concepts. There's so many, and it's bad because he came up with something different the other day. Today he's coming up with nature. And I feel like these people, especially for him, it feels as if like there's another one like him. They cannot keep to one concept and really fully understand that concept. So what they do is they jump through different things, or they just come up with thumb sucking of some idea about something, and then they create some. I don't know if they created this such, but they come up with some bullshit about how that is a good idea to align to something like that. Anything you align to in the physical is essentially robbing you of an opportunity to align with your spirituality. That is, anything in the physical environment, be it nature or an animal or a mountain or food or whatever, or another human being. If you align to anything in the physical, it's robbing you an opportunity to align with your spirituality, that is your program self, through God Himself, through Spirit itself. So you cannot call something spirituality when or spirit in that way when it's in the physical environment. Yes, it's a physical program. You must understand that it's also a program, but it's a physical program. It's not a spiritual program. Does it have a spirit in it? Yes, it does. Just like you are a physical program, but you also have your spiritual program. And this is where spirituality comes from. It's not called physicality, it's called spirituality. And you cannot find that thing in anything in the physical environment. You cannot find spirituality or align with your spirituality through anything on the physical environment, because anything that is existing in the physical environment in that way is very much physical. That is, it's a physical problem. It's an extension of some spirit in the spiritual world, which is existing in the physical environment as a physical being or as a physical object or as a physical whatever. So you cannot tell us that it's connected to spirit. You are also connected to spirit. A car is fucking connected to spirit in that way. The reason why it exists is that metal or whatever, it has a spiritual program as well. Everything you see has a spirit. The earth has a spirit. The minerals on this planet has a spirit. The minerals that created that car has a spirit. So that argument of spirituality in nature, you might just as well say the spirituality in I can also say the spirituality in a couch. Am I going to now go and align with the couch? The spirituality in another human being, am I going to now align with another human being? The spirituality in the animals, am I going to align with some animal? No. But can you align with your true spirit, with your own program, through God, who is spirit all? That is His spirit for everything. And God is the creator, the one who created you. That's the only spirit you should be trying to align to. Not any other spirit, most especially in a spirit that is existing in a physical environment. Are you supposed to interact somehow with these programs in the physical? Yes, in a respectful way, of course. That is, do not interfere with this, the programs of this physical world in any way, because you would be stealing energy from it as well. But now, to come back and now make it about spirituality, it's one of those things, right? It's almost like I'm listening to him and I'm like, when did you come up with this rubbish? What were you drinking when you came back with when you come out with this hogwash? Because it sounds as if, like, to be honest, these people, they sound like they're sitting somewhere, né? They're smoking something, maybe their socks or something like that. And then they're like, yeah, earth, or yeah, nature. Nature is very much, this and that. And this person, I said it, I had to react to one of his videos. He's one of the people who's supposed to go in and align properly in order for them to be able to teach properly. And what he's essentially been doing recently, well, not recently, but what he's been doing is he's adding concepts into the database which are incorrect, meaning he is creating he's affecting the database quality or the data quality of the environment. And as a result, he's going to pay he's going to pay a karmic debt to the universe for lying, for saying things that are not real, for coming up with bullshit and making it sound as if like it's real. Imagine if somebody else goes and listens to this person and goes out there and takes all these ideas that he's going to probably spew out in this rest of the recording and practices that, thinking that, oh no, I'm aligning, I'm spiritual in that way. And this poor person is wasting energy and time and everything that they don't have any business wasting because of following this type of person, when they could use that time and energy to be aligning to the correct source, which is God himself, God the creator himself, not any other. Everything, you cannot go and use something that God created just like you, right, and make it seem and make it about spirituality. Spirituality, everything has a spirit. And this is why I keep saying this concept of spirituality. Perhaps when it began, it wasn't so bad, but it has gotten to the point where it's a catch-all for anything. And I get the feeling that the science as well, scientists and stuff, wants to tap into it. They will call it some quantum shit of some kind. And I'm like, oh, whatever. The fact is, you still have to understand that you're a fucking program. You know, those atoms, those nucleus, those what, they are programs. That's it. This whole thing of taking physical objects or physical things that you can see, smell, touch, and whatever, and making them some sort of a spiritual thing just because of you can see them. That's the flawed perception of you have. Because when it comes to spirituality, you're not going to see it in that way. You're going to see it, but not in the way of I see it with my eyes. You're going to see it with all your senses as one, called intuition. You're going to go there intuitively and understand what is written in your program. What were you supposed to be doing or saying even? What topics were you supposed to be discussing instead of discussing some BS? And yeah, well, I don't know. Let's listen
We
to
know
this.
nature, right? But for you, you decided to come out of your shell to share your truth to the world. And that is what people like us are doing. The story that I shared about the situation that I went through, about being attacked, physically assaulted, in fact, it was very traumatic. But because I've experienced kind of a similar situation, my recovery has been very quick. The lesson that I learned in this reality was that suffering is something that we are going to see as a disguised lesson, because trust me, suffering is there because there is narcissism and there are toxic men, or there are toxic reality. The earth doesn't cause its own people to suffer, right? Nature doesn't cause suffering. Where the strong river is flowing is a frequency. The rivers are strong and flowing. in our own intelligence, we know that we are not going to even have a habitat there, because that is also an energy that is vibrating. So you don't even try to interrupt the reality. Suffering began when men shifted into their lower nature and now started destroying nature. There has been a heavy downpour this rising here in Ghana. And when you go to the capital city, the place is flooded. It's in the news. Almost every part of the city is sinking in the water. Nature is paying them back. Backdating, I did a video where I posted on TikTok and I told my people that they should watch out, especially those that live in the coastal areas. They should watch out for something very serious because of their own negligence. So the people are going to suffer because of their own negligence. So suffering is something that we create. Now, what happened to me that day? It wasn't nature that came to hit me. It wasn't the trees, right? It wasn't the prana that came to assault me. It was men that came to assault me. And then they called police on me on top. So when the people say that suffering is here and we can never escape it, then it means that there are evil people and there are people that do not want to see this earth shift into its highest frequency, because I told you that the earth is shifting and there is going to be more water. I said this before 2026, right on YouTube, that
A
the
lot of people
waters
have been
are
saying
going.
that. Scientists have been saying the same thing. The global climate issue has been a thing for a very long time. You're not the first person to say this. I mean, there's the Gretas and them who've been talking about it, right? Anyway, with regards to suffering in this environment, yes, it is, because sometimes, not even sometimes, because it's low vibrational. So, how I'm experiencing it is as high vibrational as I could get, or as I am, right? Or as anyone can get, or as anyone is. The problem comes in with the environment being low vibrational, that is, most people being low vibrational around you, also affects the environment in such a way that everything else becomes low vibrational. And when that happens, is that whatever results that you're going to get in that environment is going to be low vibrational. That is, the low vibrational sadness is going to be deeper. Chaos is going to be more. Whatever it is that needs to come in that is low vibrational is going to be a lot more of that. However, if we were high vibrational, we would get more high vibrational things. That is, everything will stabilize. Everything in the environment will become high vibrational and work as they were intended to, because of your program has been written to run without any kind of low vibrational stuff. That is, your program has been written in such a way that it doesn't have an attachment of some sort of a chaos program running while you're running, right? So all those things that we get to attach ourselves in with in this environment, this low vibrational stuff like pain, like fear, like anxiety, like whatever, you are not programmed with that. And so is the environment as well. It's not The environment is not programmed with chaos and stuff. However, even if there was going to be something that happens, that is, there was going to be some sort of a climate change, it wouldn't be too chaotic had we been high vibrational. That is, the way the environment will change will just gradually change in a slow way, as in like the program of climate has been programmed in such a way that when it does move or change, it's not harmful, right? When it does grow and evolve, it's not harmful. But here's the thing, it shows you that the whole world is so low vibrational. How? When you look at things like climate, they're starting to be low vibrational. Things like animals as well are going to get affected. As much as they saying, Father said, they had been able to keep up with the high vibration, but the environment is also starting to suppress them as well. That is, they're going to misbehave, and expect that. You're going to have more people being bitten by sharks, more people be, or the animals from the what do you call it, reserves and stuff, are going to start moving out because of that high vibration thing within the whole entire environment is so low that they have no other choice but to vibrate that low. Although, as I said, Father said, they had managed to keep up their vibration. Actually, he said, animals, right, and nature is the only thing that is still assisting this environment to keep the high vibration. That is, if it wasn't for the animals keeping their somewhat of a high vibration and the nature itself keeping somewhat of their high vibration, we would be in a far much more shitty place, because of most of the humans in this environment are low vibrational. So yes, nature has given us a boon by maintaining the low vibration. However, it is also dropping, and it's dropping because of it's being affected by us human beings who keep doing it, going lower and lower and lower and lower vibration. It's almost as if like our low vibration is making this environment darker, right? So the darker it gets, right, the shadowy it gets. And the shadowy it gets is that at some stage you're going to have beings, animals and stuff acting in a shadowy manner because of there's no light. And what does that look like? It's like, oh, they can't see me. No one can see me. I can walk around the night like this and do things because of nobody can see me. And it's also because of you have to survive in a low vibrational environment. What happens with a low vibrational environment is that it's not going to feed you. That is, things like food are going to become scarce because of what crop do you know that grows under the shadow and under the darkness? Not many. So your food scarcity as well is going to go higher, and it's not necessarily going higher because of the governments and all these other conspiracy theory kind of people are doing it that way. Yes, they are. They may be, all right, but the other issue is they also don't understand, or they do understand, that the low vibration of this environment is going to cause food scarcity. It's going to cause environmental changes that are not going to be able to. It's like, for instance, when a planet is being, um, this is what I'm getting now. When a planet has just been created, when it starts moving in that way, right? That is, it's creating itself, it's creating its mountains, it's creating all of those things. That energy is still pretty much low vibrational. That is, it's as if like when Father was creating himself, he started as well as low vibrational, as in like just darkness, right? Just darkness, and but he kept moving and moving and moving, and as he kept moving and talking and thinking and whatnot, he created light within himself. And it's similarly the same way when these planets are being created, they're going to create themselves in such a way as you find that the planet takes billions and billions of years to form fully. Billions of billions, another billions of years for the environment to start being able to be livable, right? It's because of the low vibration in that environment. It's still moving in such a way that, you know what, it does create, but it creates this and that slowly. So there's no food yet, there's no water yet. But as it moves and it starts getting into a high vibration, that is, as it matures and keeps raising its high vibration to a point where you don't even feel it moving. You don't even see it moving, just like us on earth. We wake up, we go to sleep, it's nighttime, we wake up, it's daytime. Did you feel that move? No, because it's so high vibrational that you won't even see it, that it's moving. And this is why we're able to live in this environment. However, as we get too low, it's gonna start moving so low that it will start going back to that original part of it when it used to be created, when it was low vibrational and it was still creating the things that were not here yet. That is, it was going up, not going down. However, what we're doing is we're taking it from a high vibrational stance and we're putting it back into the low vibration. And what that's going to look like, it's chaos. Its weather changes, its nature changes. The very same nature that this guy is talking about, it's going to change, it's going to misbehave, because you are reversing, you are regressing the program. You are regressing. The program of earth is going to regress, just like our humanity has regressed. The program as well of earth, of anything that is linked to this planet, is going to go down, it's going to go backwards. And if it was going backwards and there were no mountains, let's say when it goes up, right? When it comes from being a nothing and it forms and it goes on and on and on. At some stage, it builds mountains. At some stage, it builds rivers, water, and whatnot as it vibrates higher to get formed into some planet that would be livable, right? There is not even a single, what you call it, being at the time, or a whatever you want to call it, that can form itself into a species. But it's going to be there as it vibrates higher, as the planet matures. The species of that environment will create as well, from the rock, from the water, from wherever, however Father programmed that planet to evolve into. Now, what we are doing is, the planet had evolved, Earth had evolved into this nice, beautiful blue planet, right? The low vibration of it means we got to the point where, this environment got to the point where it built some mountains, and it built some water, and it built some, like, it created some water, some mountains, some species like us, like animals, all kinds of things. Now what you're doing now is, as it low vibrates, it's going to distract. Those mountains are not going to keep up, because to keep that mountain up, it's a high vibrational state. To keep the waters flowing, it's a high vibrational state. To keep the sun, not the sun, but I mean the light in the environment as well, it's a high vibrational thing. So if we're not going to look at it and vibrate high, we feed off each other, right? Earth feeds us, which is currently doing on its own, that it's trying to the world, the nature that he's talking about, is trying to keep us alive. Earth is trying to keep us alive by maintaining the high vibration. However, the low vibrational state that we're getting into is dangerously low. It's getting lower and lower and lower, to the point where tomorrow, that mountain that you have there, it's going to change. You're going to look at pictures from years ago, and you take pictures now and you compare them, and you'll see that those mountains have changed. The rivers have changed. People are already doing that. And why do you think that is? It's because of you reversing the process that it took, that Earth's journey took to get here. And it's not only going to reverse just the objects, or the what would I call it? The nature stuff. We are also going to regress. We are already regressing. You're going to look like the original person that you came here with. I'm kidding. I don't know. But you might. What's to say that tomorrow somebody's going to birth a Neanderthal kind of a child? I don't know how that evolution worked. I'm just stump sucking as well right now. But I'm saying that what's to say that tomorrow, as we regress and digress that way, the children who are going to be birthed are going to be low vibrational beings. or they're going to come through as high vibrational, but as soon as they get here, they're not going to be able to come through as high vibe, and or it's not even going to be birthed anymore. We're not going to even have children, because which soul would want to come here in the low vibrational state? Because they know about earth. The spiritual world understands what's happening. They know what's going on earth. No one is going to want to come here with this low vibrational mess. Those who are coming here as agents of God to come and help fix this environment. And yes, perhaps also do some upgrades of themselves as well. But most of them are coming here like how Father sent out lights to come and fix this environment, right? And they also succumbed to the low vibrationalness of this environment. This is why I keep saying that I don't understand what the devil's plan is, because the way this thing is going, Father just has to redeem his people and leave this planet as it is. But why should he? I know Father is very... Father won't leave the planet just like that. He will do what he needs to do for a very good reason. He's going to find a reason. If there should be a reason for him to leave the planet alone and leave it behind, it's good. That good reason is going to be there before he does that. He doesn't waste energy. He never likes to waste energy. As much as he has a lot of energy, he doesn't like wasting energy. But the devil doesn't understand that eventually this planet is going to get to the point where even he can't govern it. That is, it will be chaos. It will be not just chaos as in like for right now as we're living today. We are almost at a state of chaos. It's just that we're getting used to such a low vibrational state slowly but surely to even see it for what it is. That is, we don't see that it's a chaotic environment because of it slowly going so right. It's slowly digressing or regressing. However, at some stage it's going to be in a way that it cannot be. It's so low vibrational that there's no point. It's like everybody does whatever they want whenever they want. Like the devil himself, and like I said in some other recording, that the devil himself doesn't have control anymore. And people think that the devil has control. He is under the illusion himself, the very same illusion that he gave the rest of us. He's under the same illusion, thinking that he can control this. What he doesn't understand is to control this is to keep people going low vibrational, right? And to keep people going low vibrational, it's almost as if like as you get lower, right? There's going to be a point. What I'm trying to say is there's going to be a threshold that we're going to reach with low vibration, that is, where there's no turning back. And that point, it would be, I can't even imagine it. Forget about not having food and not having this, sun, and it's going to be chaos. And when that point comes, no one is going to want to govern this environment. Even if government is there or the devil's system is there, no one is going to care. No one is going to care. It's like everybody will be under so much of pressure and under so much of a state of what can I call it? A state of reversal and of your beingness that it wouldn't matter. Most people will probably be like, it's what it is. We either die here or we live this way. What can we do? And the devil won't have any won't have any incentive to give to these people, because what are you going to sell someone? Misery? They're already miserable. They don't need that shit. The only thing you can sell them is something good. But the problem is for the devil to get to something good, he has to have some high vibration in the environment. And it's not going to be there because of it would have dropped. It's almost like saying, if today's standard of happiness is measured by cars and houses and whatnot, right? That is having those things. If you take away those things and you cannot create them because of high vibration is so low that you can't have the factories to build those cars anymore because nobody can work because they are so low vibrational, they have no energy. Everybody just expects the government to provide for them somehow. There's protest left, right, and center of some kind because of the people feel like they're tired. They can't work this, they can't do this and whatnot. Your factories of cars fall down. Only a few people are going to start driving now or having cars because cars are not going to be manufactured at that rate. The next thing you know, people are going back to walking. Oh, we don't care for these houses. We can't afford them. We might just as well live in shacks. I mean, you see it happening. I don't have to take you for for 50 years in the future. It's starting now. You see these things everywhere, especially the first world countries. It's starting. People are living on the streets. That used to be like once, like you used to have places where they would say you will never see a hobo, right? Today, I bet it's different in many countries. I bet many countries who never used to have hobbies are now having some sort of a hobo system going on. They might be hiding or not being out, uh, in everyone else's eyes like that, but they're there. That's essentially what's going to happen. People cannot afford to buy these houses. And the next thing is you're not going to be able to afford to maintain them because of why nobody can afford to live in them. So what do they live? They live on the streets. And then who's going the person who owns the building, how is he going to maintain that building? He can't. Why? Because there's no one who can work there to maintain it. And the next thing you're going to have is a decay. We've seen so many places in this earth where there used to be a civilization or people, and at some stage it got to be left and there was a decay in it. We're going to have such cities in this environment. All these big cities are going to be left. If anything, some places are actually, that kind of migration is also already happening. And you think, oh no, it's just after COVID, there is, yeah, but it's also vibration. Your low vibrational state that people are so sad, so not really like looking forward to things. So it's not really working out. They have to work 100 times harder to just keep an ounce of happiness in their life. Why? Because of this environment is low vibrational. That is when the father was explaining it to me through the cards, that is the tarot card, with this card called the best that can be achieved in that situation. That is in the low vibrational environment, if as much as there is a high vibrational environment, but let's say we are in this low vibrational environment, there's only so much you can achieve in it. So even God wants to reward you, right, or bless you. The low vibrationalness of this environment can only afford a certain amount of energy to be given to you, simply because it cannot fit in. It's almost as if like we believe we are poor, right? And we are okay with everybody being poor and just a few people being rich. What we didn't realize is that that standard that we placed for ourselves in this environment is essentially the best that can be achieved in that situation. That is, the best that you can achieve in a situation where there's only a few rich and a lot of people very poor is that even if I bless you, I can only give you a little bit. That is a somewhat of a bottom range of some sort of a middle class kind of a person. They can't give you anything more than that. You can't be wealthy and well off. No, despite the fact that you went to school, people have wasted energy and time and went to school, went to varsity, they've got degrees and such, but they're not living that way. Why? It's because of the best that can be achieved in this environment only allows for you to live a certain limit. Because of the environment is not high enough. The environment energy, there's no energy in the environment. So this is the thing. If there's no energy in the environment, you cannot create or add a bigger energy source in it. So if God wanted to give you a big car and a big house and whatever, your low vibrational energy environment doesn't allow for those things to come through to you because of there's no energy. Energy is the currency. You might have money, but there's no energy. Energetic currency is not there. That is, if God wanted to give you a gift, a magical gift, not magical gift. Yeah, not magical. What do they call it? What do they call it when God gives you something beautiful? Not a blessing, man. I forgot what they call it. Not magic. Whatever they call it. God cannot give you that blessing as big as it needs, because He's going to try to fit it into your environment. It won't fit. It's a big energy kind of a blessing, and you have space for only something so small. And God will give you that as much as they want to give you big. They can't give you that big because the energy in this environment cannot carry a big blessing. And we keep dropping and dropping and dropping. At some stage, you're going to get to the point where the threshold that has been reached, nobody can be bought from it. That is, the devil might be buying a lot of people today. Oh, you want to do this, and then I'll get you this. Oh, you want to get a home. Oh, go and lie there and do this and steal that and whatever, you get a home. Oh, you want to buy a car. Oh, okay, go and lie in your CV, get a job or someone else's job and steal someone else's job, get paid, and then you get a car. Such things as low vibrational energies that we've been doing are going to cost you in the long run, because of whatever it is that you got with that low vibrational energy that you did is going to create a very bad situation for yourself. This is why people in the future, they might not see it, but they're going to lose out. They're going to lose their homes, they're going to lose their cars, they're going to lose everything that they have been defining themselves as, which is a physical thing. Oh, I'm rich. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm this. Egos that they have picked up. They're going to lose. And once they lose them, what happens to you? You're going to look for that ego. You say, where's my car? Where's my house? Where's this? They're gone. You're going to be looking at someone who is rich, right? Or is somewhat looking like he's rich, but there's no point of him being rich, because you're rich among poor people, and then that's not going to do anything. You're rich among poor people who have no energy. That's not going to do anything for us. He himself won't be able to probably cut his own lawn, because of the people who could have done that are too low vibrational and they cannot cut the lawn anymore. They're too energy low that they cannot do not simple, but their usual way of working. Why? Because we kept adding low vibrational state into this environment anyhow, any which way. It's not just this type of concepts which are being spewed, because these concepts as well, what they're doing is they're adding the darkness into the database. It's like you're adding dirty shit into the database. And you expect the database to have what? When you come and you're like, oh my goodness, I have this good thing that I need to put in there, you're going to find the database full of shit, because of people go around spewing bullshit. And somebody else has to come and defragment that shit, that is, remove the bullshit. And they don't have to do anything. And that's the problem. That's one of the problems. The teachings are the big problem. This is why Father said, you're going to look at these teachers. You're going to defragment these teachers, because of they're causing problems in the system, and they're going to create a lot of work for you, because you will defragment something, and then someone will come back and say shit like this, and then you're going to have to come back and defragment this shit as well. That is, teach properly, teach the real thing, the right things, because of someone else is going out there just teaching any old shit that they can fucking thumbsuck, and they're putting it in the database, and people learn that shit and behave that way, go around them thinking, oh, I'm going to align with nature, I'm going to align with nature, I'm going to align with nature, whilst they wondered why they're not getting high vibrational. You're not going to get high vibrational if you don't understand who you are. You're not going to get high vibrational if you don't accept that you are a program. You can get somewhere where they can tell you, oh, you are high vibrational. You can get to a degree, but beyond that degree, you're not gonna get there. Because of you will be, why won't you get there? I have understanding of what that means? You're not going to get there because you will be unfulfilled. And that unfulfilled status, because you're gonna get to some threshold, right? Based on the fact that you're aligned with anything other than God Himself. You're going to get to whatever and be like, oh, I feel good. But what you won't realize is that by rejecting the idea that you're a program also puts you in a negative state. That is, you're fucking pretending. Everything about you is fucking pretentious, because the only way you're going to be authentic is when you know who you are. And the only way you're going to know who you are is when you go through God, is when you align through God. That's the only being who's going to be able to remind you. It's not that you don't know who you are. You know, but you forgot, and you forgot because of this environment is heavy on you. And therefore, to be able to find out who you really are, you need to go and align with God. That is, they will have you go through that. When I say they, I mean God, your spirit team. They will have you go through some exercises for you to drop your egos and whatever. And as soon as you start dropping even one ego, you will see how bright things get. You'll see how you're getting closer to being fulfilled, right? And the more you do that, the more everybody else does that, the more it's going to even look brighter in this environment. And as it gets brighter, the vibration rises. And trust me, as soon as people start vibrating high, watch how the environment stabilizes. The reason why they're sending you from pillar to post about this whole thing of climate change is because of either they don't know, which I feel like it's the case, that it's about the vibration of the environment and the people in the environment. I think Uncle Omen might be lost when it gets there, because Uncle Omen won't know shit. When I say Uncle Omen, I mean my uncle, the devil, right? He doesn't know shit because of he didn't walk his path. He didn't walk his spiritual path, and his teachings like shit like this, because people act like they're being sent by God. They're not. They're talking bullshit. Don't lie about Father. And that's another thing. He hates that. He doesn't like that, because you're essentially stealing energy from him. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that at all. Lucifer doesn't like it at all. Yeshua Hashem, he's energetically broke because people are lying about him dying for their sins. Father does not even take that shit lightly. When you go out there and talk about shit and say things like God says this, God said that, God, and you're lying, you're thumb sucking, you're not doing the real work and understanding the shit that you're saying, and just talking about it in such a way that you're making it seem like you and God are like that, and when you're really not, keep going, my friend. I know I would be in a very bad state because I said a lot of shit about Father, right? I should be already. I should be already very energetically low. Perhaps this is why I'm so tired physically. But I know my program is not tired. I know that it's just a physical tiredness. And it's caused because of I'm running. My program is running, and my physical cannot keep up with my spiritual self. I have a lot of things that I need to do before I I move forward. And the devil is not making this shit easy as well. But if I'm doing something wrong, right, and I'm not really aligned in a sense of being corrected when I'm wrong, um, I would know, I would see it. The funny thing is, I wake up, right, I work, I do what I need to do, I'm very much working, but they keep telling me you need to slow down, you need to slow down, because of your body is not really catching up anymore. And my weirdest thing is I cannot, right? I'm so used to it. Like I cannot wait. I mean, I can record or listen to this crap and defragment this crap. When you look at the hours that I've done in a day doing any kind of work, like especially just the recording stuff, it will be anything between 5 hours and so. And it's not the only thing that I do. It's not the only thing that I do. I have other things that I need to look at as well. And when you this whole month is so this whole time I'm in winter season, and I often feel like when the day starts getting dark, I'm like, oh my goodness, this day just went so short, so fast, like I'm complaining. And then I'm looking at the time, oh my goodness, it's time for me to cook, it's time for me to do this. I feel like I don't have time to finish things, and therefore when I'm done, I come back and I work up until 2 a.m. in the morning. So even though I'm tired, I cannot stop because of my spirit is pushing. My physical is the one that is a little bit delayed because of the energy I am and this environment and the way things have been going on. The devil has managed to sort of like, what's the point? What's the word for it? Overload and overburden my physical self, right? That's what he's doing. He's trying to overload and overburden my physical self. But what's going to happen, oh, is it doesn't matter. Eventually, even if the physical fails, right? Let's say I collapse and whatnot, and I cannot come back up, which most probably is not going to happen. I will be able to come back up. All I need is a rest, to be honest. But they're making it so that I never get to a point where I rest. What they don't understand is that the body will shut down. That's fine. All it needs is just to shut down. But knowing these guys, they're so naughty, ne? They might just take my body quickly and go and bury it because they know it will probably wake up. But I don't know if it will shut down to the point of not breathing. But it will somehow shut down. They said Father said, you're going to collapse. And I was like, what? He's like, I didn't understand what that meant at the time. He's like, no, you're gonna run your body to, Ish. He said, you're gonna run your body to exhaustion. And I'm like, why would I do that? It's like, your program doesn't know how to stop. And the body was tired and it's going, but he's like, don't worry about it. You'll be in good hands. But I'm like, Father, good hands, where? Where in this environment? I don't see it happening. So I'm very worried about it. I don't want to lie. And I'm starting to be like, I need to find a way to rest so that I don't collapse. I cannot collapse here. If I'm going to collapse, physically collapse, I cannot collapse around these people. I need to be somewhere where I would rather collapse in somewhere in the mountains alone. I'd rather collapse there. I just need a state where a place where I won't be around beings who would do something bad to my body while I'm out, because it just needs to rest. I do eat, I sleep a little, but I don't sleep. I sleep. I don't have any issues with it, but I wake up during the night many times because of the comics. They wake me up, they jerk me up, they just wake me up so that they can siphon. When they run out of energy while they're sleeping and they feel like they're about to lose their breath or something, they jerk me up so that they can fragment they get energy, and then I come back to sleep. And I'm in that kind of an environment, which is very much vampirish kind of a environment. They're living off of me. So the best thing is actually for me to collapse. That would be the best thing. So that they when they try to do it, they find me down and out. Then they can't get any energy from my physical, because they're getting energy from my physical, not from my spirit. And when that happens, then they will be in shit. And then I can wake up after that. That's essentially what happened to Yeshua as well. But not in a nice way. Yeshua's one wasn't how it was supposed to be. It was, what I'm getting is, I think it was not planned to happen that way. But he woke up, right? Because of they did it in a is it crucifix kind of way. For me, they did doing it in a siphoning of energy. They're just drawing energy. With him, they killed him, or they crucified him thinking that he's going to die. But all he needed was those 3 days to lie down and recuperate. I don't know if they'll do the same mistake with me. This is why I'm saying I don't trust these fuckers. They might just take my body elsewhere. They did that. They left Yeshua there. They came back after 3 days and he was gone. They'll be like, we're not making that mistake again. Good thing the tombs then were not underground and stuff. But for me, they might just to make sure. So that shit is worrying me. And I know Father's worried about it as well. I get the feeling he was trying not to put it in such a way, but I'm able to see it for what it is. And that actually was a light bulb for me, because I figured it out today. I was like, if I collapse around this environment and there's no right people around me, these people are going to do something bad, because they are very bad people. They don't care. They're going to do the worst thing, which is they're probably going to bury my body alive. And I don't know if I'll be able to get out of there. But again, I'll probably get out somehow. But this environment, I have to rest. I have to find a way to rest. I think that's what they're waiting for. I can see that they're waiting for something. This is why they keep postponing, keep pushing, keep changing the thing. They just want to keep changing it until they run me out. And when they do, they're going to get me to this point. They want my body to die. Not die, but break down. And once it's breaking down, they're going to hide the body or do something to the body. They want to do something to the body. They know the spirit, they cannot do much. But they know that if they can just get rid of the body, the spirit is going to be a problem for me to continue with this. So I'm like, who gives a shit? I don't care, as long as I don't wake up in underground, right? If I'm out, I'm out. Father must just remove my spirit from that body. And I can always assume another body. These stupid beings. Or I'll probably, let me not say anything more. Sorry, Father, I'm not going to share anything. Because I'm thinking how Father would think. And I have a feeling that he has a plan for that shit. But if it does happen, he knows what he's going to do. Yo, this place, I can't believe I'm doing this. When you have grown up with 45 years worth of BS, like what they're talking about now, and you start walking this planet through the lens of God himself, like seeing things for real, for what they are, accepting that you're a program and living your life, understanding that in such a way that whatever decision you make, it's not really like a big deal. You see, that's the thing. Is like, for me, I'm like, whatever, man. But I'm also hoping for something good after that, right? And there's two things that can happen. I'm either gonna get another body, or I could just go, and either one is fine. If they stop, but that's the thing, is like what they don't realize is that the world has already started doing its change into vibration, high vibration. It has no choice, right? And it will happen anyway. And I just don't want to be birthed here again. If Father said to me, "You're going back to earth," I'll be like, let them deal with it. If I'm out, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not coming back here. As long as I've done so much that I can move forward. That is, find a way to move forward to the 4D and the 5D and whatnot. Even so, even if I don't have to move, because I've already said to Father, after this whole shit, I want a break. I don't want to exist anymore. It's like no nothing, no me, no ever, no nothing. And Father's like, yo, that's not exactly possible. You cannot not exist. And I'm like, no, I don't want to exist. And I don't have a problem if they leave me behind. Because that essentially means I won't exist again, right? And that's cool. For me, that's cool. But they would have hampered Father's plan, obviously. And he has plans. But what they don't realize is that if they did that, you I just had a thought. I just had a thought, and I think it's real. If they manage to kind of like kill me, right, or get rid of my body in that way, they have nothing to bargain with. Then they are fucked. Because I'm not here. It's almost like the only reason why they're still around is because of myself and others are still here. But Father has woken up or tried to wake up every other one. And they are picking up their call and then they're dropping the call. Meaning they know what they have to do, but they decide not to do it. And Father has given them that opportunity. And oh goodness, now I'm realizing what he was trying to do. So what I'm getting is Father was trying to, he made contracts with these people who came here and said, you will come for us if we cannot get out. And he agreed, right? So what essentially Father has been doing is giving me the opportunity to wake up each and every one of them, right? To say, hey, wake up. Start doing what you were sent here to do. And they're not waking up. Or they wake up, they pick up the call and they drop it. Or they ignore the call. So essentially they cannot say that Father didn't come for them. That's essentially what this is. This has nothing to do with me. Oh my goodness. This has nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with all the beings that were sent here, the lights that were sent here to come and wake up. And if they don't wake up, or they pick up the call and they drop it, or they pick up the call, or they ignore the call, they can't come back and say, you said you will rescue us if we are unable to. Because Father said something as well. He said, you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure it out in the end, what the issue is really. But he didn't want to tell me. I was supposed to figure it out for myself. So all these beings that I've been in contact with, all these beings that I'm calling, even through my recording, if they don't fucking wake up and take the call, their asses are fried, essentially. It's essentially this way. If you received any of my messages and you fucking ignored it, just know that whatever deal you signed with God is going to be null and void, because He comes for you. He came for you. He sent you a message, and if you decide not to pick up that call, or you pick it up and you drop it, right, and you don't call Him, He's going to say, I called you. You didn't answer. And essentially, the next phase of this mission moves forward. Shit. Okay. Mm. This is bad for the lights. All the lights that I have been calling, all the other programs, if they're not lights that I've been calling, or Father has been triggering me to say something about certain things or certain people. Some are in prisons and stuff. All those people, the knights, the emperors, the whoever's, who are supposed to wake up, if they do not wake up, Father's essentially saying, I made that call. You chose not to pick up. And when He does what He needs to do in this environment, when He needs to do it, it's like all gloves are off. You chose your side. It's almost like you already signed with the devil. You signed up with him, but when you came here, you forgot what you came here for, and you started signing deals with the devil. So He's coming for you as He promised, because He's going to keep His promise through me by not keeping my own promise, by getting me all involved with these fuckers who are not picking up their calls, and they made deals. Oh my goodness, you should have felt what they did to my eye. You should have felt what they did to my eye, because of I'm saying this shit. So what is going to happen is, Father couldn't keep His promise to me because of the beings that were signed with Him and myself didn't answer. Some with myself, some with Him. They don't answer. They don't answer because of they have signed the deals with the devil. And as a result, Father's just making sure that He is essentially closing His books. He's doing His balancing to say, okay, this contract here is null and void. It's no longer there. We're canceling this contract because of we did what we were supposed to do. He's the one who made a choice not to come forward. That's it. And as soon as I started talking about something right now, you should have felt what they did to my eye. It was as if like somebody had her, I don't know, man. No. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. That's what Father was trying to do all this time. I didn't pick it up until now. It's like if you don't wake up, if you choose not to wake up, if you choose to ignore this, that's fine. And I remember Him saying something like, you would be their last hope. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, you will be valuable to them because of, if you leave that environment, essentially, it's done. It's finished. Shit. So what Father did was, he came for those that He wanted to come for, that He made deals with to say, I'll come for you. If those beings don't pick up their call, that is wake up, right? Oh, you should feel how I am scratching because they hate this conversation. If those beings don't wake up, right, it's their choice. That is, Father came for them and they chose not to answer their calls. Therefore, Father has answered for His part, and the rest of it is up to them. So if I leave this environment, there's nothing that Father has to keep this world running for. And if they do something to me at the same time, again, it's like there's nothing for Father to keep this environment for. It's almost like they're going to have to keep me alive. They're going to have to make sure nothing happens to me. Because Father said they're not going to, when you get to this stage, they're not going to be able to do anything to you, because they're going to realize that if you leave anyhow, whether I leave by death or I leave anyhow, right? This world is fucked. And having me in this environment, will essentially keep defragmenting. That is, it will essentially keep this environment going brighter and brighter. But their only hope would be to learn to vibrate higher. They won't have any option anymore. It's like they've been trying to make it seem like they have an option of keeping their low vibration and keeping things the way they've been going. But they're going to have to, the Father said there's a point where they're going to realize that if they kill you, the game is over. And then he said something like they're going to have to let you be. Because of, again, if I, like, you don't die. You don't really die, right? You don't really die. So dying is not an option for me. Okay, for me it's an option, but for them it's not. For me it's like, I'll just get my break. So what I'm saying is, if Father decides to remove me from this planet himself and says, my child, you've done enough, it's time, you've come in and did all these contracts and closed these contracts, I woke them up, they didn't want to wake up, so it's time for you to leave. And he takes me, right? And that's another thing they have an issue with. And this is another thing that Father said. He said, even if they try to come after you, they can't do much, because they know I can take you. Like, as in, like, I could die. And if I died, because of, Father will be like, this is enough. If I died in that way, what they're going to have is an issue again. They're going to have an issue, because that issue is, either way, if they keep this torments and all of that, right, going forward to a degree where it's becoming ridiculous, they essentially they're going to have a problem, because of, Father could just switch me off from heaven and be like, your spirit is coming back, and then I'll go back, right? And if they killed me themselves, it's fine, because I still go back. But the problem is, once there's nothing valuable in this environment to keep this environment, I'm not saying I'm valuable, right? I'm just saying, if you look at it in a sense of, once there's nothing else that needs to be saved from this environment, right? Why would God waste any more energy? That is, if most beings don't want to wake up. And especially, I have a feeling that Father's still going to continue with the mission with me in it. But for the beings that he wanted to make sure that the contracts are cancelled, that's it. It's almost as if, like, they are now seen as every other person. They're not special anymore. They're not lights in that way. They are going to just be every other person. Isn't like God came to wake you up, you refused. So whatever path you're going to have to walk, you're going to have to walk the path in the way that you're supposed to walk the path, just you walking your path. But know that if push comes to, if you're not able to make it, right, it's not God's fault because of he woke you up and you've refused. So you're going to go through the process just like everybody else, and you're going to not that they were going to go through a different process, but they're going to go through a process just like everybody else. But in this instance, they don't have that contract anymore. So should there need to be anything or anyone saved in this environment, their father doesn't need to. If they're low vibrational and they don't do what they need to do, they don't vibrate high, and they're like, oh, you sign a contract, you said you'll come and save me. God will be like, I came. You refused. The contract was cancelled there. That's essentially what this is. So if the people are not going to wake up, I didn't see it that way. But now I remember the vision of me picture, and I figured it out at the right time. I figured it out today. It's the day before. Is it the moon? Some full moon. Some Mercury retrograde moon. What's the day today? I figured it out on time. And this is why maybe these dogs are like, they're like barking. They are barking to I don't know. And they've been like that the whole day. The past 2-3 days, I've been itching way more, even though it's not as bad, but it's way more than it was before now. Just before now, like just before the 3-4 days before. And the torments are sharper, and yeah. So we're trying to make sure that I don't remember. I don't figure out this. And Father said, you're gonna figure it out, but you're gonna figure it out towards the end. And I was like, what if I don't figure it out? It's like, don't worry, you're gonna figure it out. And I remember it was this specific thing, that what I was essentially doing, as much as I was learning, I was also nullifying all the contracts that Father did with these people in order for them to wake up. It's like they all had a chance, but they refused. They refused to wake up. And I remember Father saying, your counterpart is going to realize something, but it will be late. And he's going to come through, like in a rush to say, hey, you know what? And I was going to be like, you know what? You're wasting my time. I already did what I needed to do. I guess you're going to have to move on your own. And his contract was cancelled as well. I remember his contract is cancelled as well. But I don't know, maybe Father's giving him a second chance because, Father said it's going to be up to you whether he gets a second chance or not. And then what I asked Father, what did I do? Right? And then he never says things, right? But I projected to the future and I saw it. I essentially said, hey, go away. Don't bother me. I didn't trust him. And there was a good reason for me not to trust him. I didn't even like him to be around me because I didn't trust him. Father said to me, no, you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure him out and he's not going to come. Father's like, that one is contract is also cancelled. And I'm like, then what now? It's like, no, don't worry. You'll be fine. And then he says to me, but this person is still going to come through rushing when he wakes up. He's going to wake. He woke up. He was called. He woke up, but then he got back with, at that time when he was supposed to come through, he was busy signing with the deal with the devil. So he just essentially basically signed at the time when he was supposed to honor the contract that he signed with Father. He decided to sign a new contract with the devil at that moment. So when he comes through, I'm looking at him, I'm like, are you okay? What do you want here? There's nothing for you here. And he's insisting, right? And I'm like, I don't care. And eventually Father says, he's gonna come and begging and all of that. And I'm like, what happened then? It's like, you'll see it when you see it. But then when I see it, when I project to the future and see it, I'm essentially telling, he's running after me. He's almost like he's just, this person understood it immediately when he came through, or when he really woke up to it. He was like, shit, if that was that call and I refused it, it means it would be cancelled. So when he comes through late, right? And they gave him these instructions. I remember my great grandmother, my great grandmother giving him these instructions like, don't miss the call. No matter what happens, whatever it is that is happening in your life, don't miss that call, right? They were trying to save him. And he was like, yeah, I know. Don't worry. And they trusted him. My grandmother, my great grandmother trusted him to be one of the good ones. And when he couldn't answer the call, I remember seeing my great grandmother upset, like in heaven, obviously. And he's like, you know what, this person walks away. And I'm like, so father's like, that's one as well. He didn't answer the call. When he was supposed to be answering the call, he was busy signing deals with the devil. And I'm like, didn't do that. Father's like, Then I project and I see him doing that. And but father says to me, but you're gonna know. You're gonna have intuition about it. You're gonna see him before he comes. And you're essentially going to tell him to fuck off. And I was like, okay, fine. But these guys, they had been woken up, they sent, the calls were sent and they didn't receive them. Some woke up, a lot of them actually woke up, but they refused to continue. So what essentially means is that when this whole process goes forward, their deal is broken, that their contracts are cancelled, right? So they're going to have to go through this whole process understanding that their asses are not going to be, like, they're no longer valuable to father anymore. And I think this is why the devil kept making sure that all these beings who were supposed to be woken up, he tripped them, made sure that they signed the deal with him rather. All of them, right? What he didn't realize is that he was actually canceling his own tickets out of here. Father was like, didn't like the idea that I figured it out. He's like, you're going to figure it out before everything is finalized. But at least this message that's going to be posted is going to be posted at a time when, by the time the people receive this message, it will be too late. That's what father said essentially. It's like, but by the time the message comes out, it's already done. Like, I've already cancelled all the contracts. Because I was like, no, father, you have to tell me. What if there's one left? Father's like, don't worry about it. You're going to realize it. And the time you're going to schedule this thing, it would be done. It would be, I would have signed off all the contracts with everybody else that I'm supposed to sign off the contracts. So the valuable being, I'll be signing new contracts. And he said, you only then will you start signing new contracts once you get rid of. So these contracts are actually not just my father's contracts. They're also my contracts. The contracts with the beings that I made with the beings that I came here for or with or whatever. But these guys signed these contracts with me to say, yeah, we will be part of your mission. And now when you're supposed to come through to be part of the mission, they refused. They decided to walk away. They decided to do anything else but. So father says, when you get to this point, and I think this is the point, this is the last person. By the time you figure it out, you will figure. Father says, father says to me, Ish, you did something, you figured me out. You're gonna figure me out. You're gonna figure my plan out. But luckily, it would be already like at the end. And by the time you post the message, it would have been done, right? And he's like, you're going to figure out why you had to go through all these disappointments, what I was trying to achieve. And I was like, what you were trying to achieve? He's like, yeah, you're going to figure it out. But then he says, he's like, damn it. He was looking at me funny, like I didn't think I programmed you that good. He was like, you did something I wasn't expecting you to do. You figured out my move at the towards the end, and it was supposed to not be figured out. And it was supposed to stay as is. But then he says, luckily, you're gonna figure it out towards the at the end, and by the time you anyway schedule the recording, right? Because there's a lot of recordings before this one. This is not even going to be loaded yet. He says by the time you record it, it would have been long done. But what he was saying to me was that he didn't expect me to be able to figure that shit out. That okay, so this is why I'm like, oh, so you're busy disappointing me with all these people of yours because you're signing you're canceling your own contracts here with me. But these contracts, I understand that they are also my contracts. So essentially, all this time, all these beings who've been called to wake up and they didn't wake up, and others who are not my contracts, like maybe this one is not my contract, maybe father's contract, but all of them who signed deals with me to come here and they didn't honor those deals, the contracts are cancelled. And then father said, after that, once that is done, then the process will be finished. Then you're gonna go into a new contract signing. So what's happening with these guys is that they essentially the devil owns their asses. And this other one, right? He's gonna come, this last one will figure it out, but not exactly in that way. He'll figure out that the call was for him to he'll remember my great grandmother's uh advice and firm advice to say, do not forget, do not do anything, just answer that call. Nothing must be. And what he did was, I remember him going, I think he went to his calendar and put there that this date in the future, it will be a date where I don't do anything but do what I need to do. He put that in, but when he was supposed to do that, the devil enter the devil, shows him some contracts of some kind, some business, some new business deals and whatnot, and he got caught up when he realized that he was delayed. Right? He goes to where he needed to go to start the process. The process is also being delayed there because he gave them an opportunity to go in that process of his and hamper with it when he was busy signing the contract. Now, for him to come through, it's not going to be easy. Father said, you will see if he comes through, but he might not at first. And then later when he's going to tell me something, when he tells me, hey, you figured out something and it wasn't in your program to figure it out. Despite the fact that you were so tired, but you still figured out a lot of things. And you still started, because I started also defragmenting a lot of other things that I wasn't supposed to defragment because, not supposed to, but I wasn't meant to defragment because of it wasn't part of my mission yet, or it wasn't part of the mission in any case. So father says, but at least by the time you post it, it will be too late. It will be so out there. It will be so late. Yeah. Anyway, what else did he say, Father? And they have been all like so wild with their torments, right? Yeah. I'm scratching one end and I'm scratching my leg and I'm feeling the pain in my back. Like I'm scratching a place where they pierced because they sent some signal to pierce me and I have a little bit of a bump. But when I'm scratching it, I'm feeling also my a point in my back also like itching, like every move I do, a point in my back is itching. So I'm kind of like praying for Father to block it, to block those two holes. Please, Father. So that they don't siphon from it again. Anyway, yeah. So that's essentially the case. People are going to realize way too late that they are fucked. And they got woken up and they didn't answer. And I'm also getting that the devil's going to do something about blocking this type of recordings for me. But I feel like he doesn't realize that that doesn't help anybody in any way, because what it essentially means is for me, the people that I was supposed to come in contact with and the contracts that they signed, they were supposed to come to me. They were supposed to come to me. And they were made to come to me at a point in time, and they refused. They knew that they were supposed to come to me, but they didn't wake up. I remember one of my counterparts, I actually worked with him. At the time when he was also called to wake up, we were called at the same time. I didn't wake up as well, but he was called to wake up and he got scared. Instead of waking up, when he woke up, or when he was about to wake up, what he did was went and to crush the feelings that he was having, or that realization that he was having. I feel like that's why he was doing it. He went and married somebody else immediately. He canceled that contract himself. So now it's like I have to go and sign new contracts with other beings. Like all those counterparts that I have been talking about, they are there, some of them, but it's not going to be these specific ones. The two that I came with, the three that I was supposed to meet here, they were supposed to come to me, they didn't. And others, that like this one who's supposed to come through as well, didn't come through. I don't remember others. There's kind of like a lot of them, right? Some are father's kind of contracts, but what I'm understanding is that I'm basically getting out of the old contracts and coming into new ones, because father said after that you're gonna have to come into a new contract. So I understand it now that this divine masculine is never gonna come through, and I'm going to have to sign a new contract after this, because father said you're gonna get into a state where they won't have anything that they can do. They won't be able to do, like if the devil has contracts with these people, the old people, like he trapped them in this. And every time I'm doing my cards, all these divine masculines are trapped, and I'm like, what's this trapped, right? Waiting is I'm like waiting or trapped, and I keep getting feeling trapped or isolated or something like that, and I'm like, maybe the devil is doing something to them, or maybe it's me, or what. But then I'm realizing now that it's because they signed a deal with the devil, and they're gonna realize way too late that, oh shit, that contract is cancelled. And essentially what that means is, moving forward, I'm signing new contracts, right? And those are just new contracts. And I'm getting that the devil won't really have a control in a way, or influence in some way of these contracts. I'm getting the feeling that these are not the contracts that he would be expecting. I'm getting, because I remember my sister seeing them, and he's like, shit. She had her eyes wide open, like, oh my goodness. And then she got sad soon after realizing that she went like, and then after that, her sad went slowly sad and sad and sadder. Like she was realizing, oh shit, we just got so served. It's like these beings are not the type of beings that would do anything like that. It's like these beings are the type you send for such a program, like my uncle and Imposter Goddess sister. So that's what I'm understanding. And this other one, the last one, is gonna come running, rushing, begging, or trying to convince me. Oh yeah, remember. He's gonna come back trying to convince me, still lying, still convincing me out of contract with the devil, like still trying to. It's like he's caught between a rock and he's fucking trapped, right? This person is gonna come through trying to achieve either one, either the devil's contract or or God's contract. He's gonna try to see if he cannot convince me so that I go with him in order for him to at least do the side of the devil if he can't get, because it's almost like he knows that, or he's not aware, or he's gonna know that surely father's contract is cancelled, but then he's gonna come through as if like he doesn't understand that he just wants to fulfill that contract of father. And I somehow wasn't supposed to figure out on time. I was supposed to see him for who he was at the time he comes through and make a decision there, right? However, because of I'm seeing him before he comes through, I figured out what father is probably trying to do. When he comes through, he's going to look it, he's going to communicate it in that way, and I'm gonna see it for what it is. It's like, oh, so you're pretending like you don't know that the other contract is cancelled. Anyway, let me just tell you that contract is cancelled. And the other one is like, okay, fine, even if the contract is cancelled, can I just anyway come through with you? And I'm like, no, I'm about to go and sign new contracts. And I remember him shaking. I remember him being like, he was shaking. He got so nervous that he started shaking and his eyes were wide open. It's like, I'm like, oh no, that contract is cancelled. I'm actually moving forward with new contracts. Bye. And he's like, it's like, yeah, whatever. So it's almost like he's afraid of what he just did, in the sense of the contract that he signed with the devil, and also the fact that his contract, he thought I wasn't going to know. When he comes through to me, he thought that I wouldn't. I think that's what they said to him. They said, you're gonna have to go to her because they think I don't know a lot of things, right? And I don't, but I'm figuring shit out as I go. I don't know a lot of much of what they know, right? I'm only figuring. I'm a child in the spiritual sense of it. I'm still a child in the universe, right? And I'm learning my karmic lessons as I do this. And they have been using it since that she's just a child. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know how things work. That's what they've been saying, right? And that's fine, but I'm able to figure shit out, and I'm going to figure this specific thing out. By the time this person comes through, it will be too late because I would have figured him out. And because when I say to him, oh, he kept going, coming in and pressing, right? Until I said to him, whatever, man. Anyway, it's not possible because I'm already signing new contracts. And I get the feeling I would have already signed the new contracts. He just wouldn't know, or what. I'm not so sure. Or am I going to? I think I said to him, no, I had signed the new contracts. They are already signed. Oh yeah, they're already signed. Ooh. You know what? I felt like I figured out two things about father. I didn't realize it. I kept feeling like there's something else that I'm going to realize about what Father did. So I already signed the new contracts. And when I said to him, I already signed because it's, I don't know how these guys do this, right? Even Father does it. I'm not supposed to know that what I'm doing is what exactly. I'm supposed to figure it out. So I'm figuring out that when did I sign the new contracts? Wow, 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 wow. And because of that contract, this is why this person who comes through on running in a rush, hasty, 8 of wands, right? I'm going to basically say no. And the cards are not really telling me that information. They were telling me this information before about these two other, but it's coming through now, but not clearly. That is, they were telling me the information, the story about these other people. And it went away for a long time, maybe for like a month or so, because of everything was about this person who's supposed to come through. He didn't come through. And now I'm starting to get the readings again about these two other ones who I didn't realize when I met them that I was re-signing the contracts with them. So they are hoping that it's the devil. I remember having a vision, seeing them, thinking the devil says to this person was supposed to come to me that she won't know. You must go and try still. She won't know about the contract situation. Right? I don't know this. I work because I'm dunderhead just like that, right? I don't know anything. But when I say to this person, he keeps pushing and pushing. Eventually I said to him, anyway, oh well, I've already signed new contracts with new people. Your contract is cancelled. And he was like, and I was like, okay. Okay, so you were trying. And that confirmed shit for me because I was like, I was just saying it, just not necessarily expecting to see his reaction in that way. But the way he reacted that on urge like that, it was like, and then he goes back. He goes back to my uncle. I was like, that person knew. You said this person won't know. That person knew. She looks like she says to my uncle, that person looks like she is quite away. You keep saying, and he was actually laughing at my uncle. So like, I went there and I got turned away, and I kept it up. But then she says this and this to me, and my uncle's like, funny. How did she know? And then he's laughing at my uncle. He's like, you guys keep thinking this person doesn't know what she's doing. That person, when I was talking to her, she's very much aware of what's going on. Are you sure you got your ducks in a row like that? My uncle's like, no, man, how can she know? There's no way she can know this, right? He's leaving him there and it's like, like he is so defeated that the guy was supposed to come to me. He's essentially telling this guy, my uncle, that, we are fucking screwed. You kept doing this mission thinking that person is not awake. That person that I saw there, the way she is and her confidence and everything, that person fucking knows what's going on. If in fact, and he says to him, in fact, I get the feeling she knows more than you guys do. Then Uncle Norman is like, no man. But then I see him. I get closer to his face. His mind is running, and I'm thinking to myself, I can see what he's thinking. What he's thinking is that it can't be. It can't be that we were working with this person awake all this time and we thought that she's still sleeping. He's going to be aware about my awakening or my awakeness only at the end, like long time gone. They all, and I and then I realized as well. I'm gonna realize then, or when I'm seeing him, then I'm realizing, oh my goodness, these people didn't think I was awake all this time. They thought they were dealing with a sleeping person. Wow. And then I smirked. I smiled. I was like, I gotcha. Because when I look at his face, right, he's like, you can see he's trying to chew it. He's like, nah, it can't be that she's awake. That person cannot be that she's awake. You can't tell me I was dealing with someone who was awake and all the how? And then the vision goes further. He goes and he sees, I see him with my sister. And he's like, why didn't you tell me that person is awake? My sister's like, she's not awake. He's like, that person is awake. So and so just told me this is what she said to him. How would you know about something like that, about signing contracts and stuff, if she wasn't aware, if she wasn't awake? My sister's like, no, she can't be. She's definitely not awake. And I keep being frustrated with them because I'm not acting anyway, right? I'm not changing my actions in any way. I'm still me. And these people, this is why they keep, and I get frustrated because they keep doing this shit in front of my eyes, blatantly so, thinking that I'm not aware of what they're doing. Now it made sense to me in that vision that, oh shit, these people thought all this time that I was sleeping. They didn't realize that I was awake. And this vision is coming to me right now at the end or towards the end of this mission. I don't know what's happening in the next coming month because today or in a few hours it's gonna be the last day of this month, and I already have because Father said just when it's just about to end, you're gonna wake up. You're gonna not wake up. You're gonna figure it out. But Father thought it wasn't going to be. He thought I wouldn't wake. I wouldn't figure it out. And he said, "You're gonna figure. I'm gonna figure out three things. There's a third one. I mentioned two now. There's a third one that I'm gonna figure out. I don't remember what that is. It's gonna come through. And even in that vision, when I figured it out, I was figuring it out not immediately, not later. It's too later than when I figured out the two. So it could come today, tomorrow, or some few days later. And it's like, you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure, it's like, I didn't expect you to figure that out. Because Father's like, hey, you exposed my plan. I didn't expect you to, I thought you would be tired. You were tired. It's like, you were tired. You were running on low, but you still figured shit out. I was like, it's like, hey, you almost ruined the plan. And I was like, what? It's like, but it's fine. You're going to do a recording too late. And anyway, by the time it's scheduled, it's going to be way too late. So when they get the message, it will be already done. And I'm here recording this message. I don't remember. I'm not going to say the date. Okay, maybe I should say the date. But it doesn't matter. It's on the 29th of June. And this recording is going to go probably towards the end of July. Because there's so many things that are scheduled before it. So many things that are still need to be scheduled. So many things that are, there's a lot that has been, so many things recorded before this one that still needs to be scheduled as well. It's almost like probably 2 months worth of work that still needs to be scheduled. So perhaps the time then this comes online, if I don't schedule it anytime soon, maybe later or now, it's probably about 3 months or towards the third month. Because the next month is already scheduled halfway or so. Yeah, not halfway, almost halfway. Maybe, yeah, almost halfway. Up until the 10th or so. Or the 15th. No, I think it's halfway. Meaning, all the other things that are there that I still need to schedule are going to probably finish the month of July and start August and almost probably finish August. And then, only then, I'll start with this specific recording to schedule it for September. Because everything I did is upfront. It's done as I learned, but it's way done before. I recorded it way longer and I scheduled it later. I recorded them a long time ago, and I scheduled some of them. Some of them I record them immediately, and I schedule them almost immediately. But a lot of it is stays for like a couple of weeks before it's scheduled. But now I have an answer to my question about this person who's coming through. And I'm getting that the frustration also could have been the karmics also showing me something that is not real, because the cards are not making sense the past few 2 weeks actually. Yeah. And he's delayed by 2 weeks, this person. Tomorrow's gonna be a full 2 weeks. He was supposed to have been here 2 weeks ago. So it's gonna be delayed 2 weeks. Not even 2 weeks, it's way over 2 weeks. 2 weeks is finished. Today's what? Oh shit, tomorrow is Tuesday. Today's Monday. So it's over 2 weeks. And it's like whatever, man. You're too late. And I kept seeing the information. So now my intuition is going to be changed, because I was like, I couldn't understand what the cards were saying, because of the cards are trying to tell me something that my intuition is not linking up to, and it's becoming difficult for me to understand them. But also I do see it as the comics are sort of like probably messing up with my card system, because I kept asking, who's reading this, who's sending me these messages, why do they keep looking very weird? Like, I don't want this person, because I've already said it so many times that I don't want to be with that divine masculine anymore, because of what I've remembered about them. But they keep coming up, keep coming up. But then they started the information started changing towards the last few days, where it's saying something about me refusing the offer, and them feeling trapped. And I was like, yeah, of course. But then I'm starting to see the other contracts that I signed, and I'm like, it can't be. Who's this person? Who's these people? Because I had moved on from them, right? I thought they were not the real deal. Only to find that I'm realizing now that, oh my goodness, they are actually the real deal. It's just that I had to go through this contract. I had to go through the specific contract of this person before I move forward. Anyway, I am also talking about many other things in here, and it's because of I do not change my topic. I'm not my topic, but I do not stop my flow of information, intuition. I have to go through it. Otherwise, yeah, this is for me. If anybody learns anything from it, yeah. But it was talking about I was still talking up referring to this person. It's just that I got triggered about something that I needed to remember. Let's hear what he's saying extra, because he can be extra as well, this one.
Going to be strong, because the sky goddess is angry.
Huh?
The sky goddess works with the earth. With the earth goddess, okay?
Where is he getting these things?
The sky goddess connects to the earth energy. Whatever that is happening to the earth is literally happening to the sky. And that is why from 2026, you are going to see a heavy downpour. Right?
What?
You are going to see a heavy downpour. There will be lots of water. So check wherever you are and stay conscious and present. Because nature is doing her own thing. And when nature rises and she is doing her thing, no soul or no man can stop what nature wants to do. Oh, they can persecute the messenger. They can traumatize the messenger. Yes, the messenger is not going to escape suffering. So if they say that we are not going to escape suffering, then it means that there is a presence of people that are very cold, evil, and mean, They are very appetite, and they are people that are becoming the enforcers of suffering. In the beginning was a high vibration, and we didn't suffer. Right?
That's true. A way.
So yes, whatever that is happening to the chosen ones, they are sufferings, but it's worth it. There are also unnecessary suffering. That one we create it with our personal decisions, right? For example, deciding to go for a toxic partner, you are going to suffer. Deciding to eat junk food, you are going to suffer in the end, right? Deciding to discard your soul, you are going to suffer. Not paying attention to your soul, not feeding your own self, but rather throwing your energy out there, right? Attachment is the root of all suffering, okay? So yes, once we've decided to attach to a system that is not promising, suffering continues. That is the unnecessary suffering. But listen, there are some of us that we don't go and create problems. It is problems that always want to find its way to us. Right?
You know this mentality of thinking that you are above certain things or certain behaviors, that you are doing well and you are good at like that, and God is like, you and God are like that. Especially this one does a lot of that. Not just him though, many others. They have this idea that they are good with God in that way. And it's not to say that they're not, but what I want to say is that's a sign of ego right there. When you think that you and God are like that, and you don't even understand Him in a way that you should, because you keep calling Him anything else but who He really is. He's God the Creator. Stop talking about the sky goddesses and the what. Yes, there probably is a sky goddess out there. I understand that, but these guys, they try to, I don't know if there is a sky goddess. I really don't know. I didn't get taught about sky goddesses, but they probably are there, because there's a lot of variety of goddess and gods and goddesses. Perhaps he knows what they're called. I don't know, right? I'm not in that lesson yet. But what I'm trying to say is they like to see themselves as some of us, the chosen ones. All that shit is that ego that is going to derail you from attaching, or not attaching, aligning with God. Because of you think you're already aligned, so you'll never go through the alignment process properly, because you already see yourself as you and God are like, best buddies like that. I'm going to take it from back to myself, because I always like to do them so that I can test myself as well, or test whatever I'm saying against what I do. I know that me and Father are aligned in a sense of we've always had that kind of relationship of alignment. It's just that I didn't know it was called alignment until I had to wake up and they called it alignment. Father said it's alignment. Anyway, but it's not to say that I would be like, me and God are like that. Right? Me and my Father fight. Me and my spirit team and Father, we fight. I fight. Okay, they don't fight me. They are too high vibrational and too good wherever they are to be fighting little old me, who's like an earthling at this point and trying to throw a tantrum, right? But I do. I fight. I say all kinds of things. I'm upset about everything, and I like the relationship that my father and I have, and my mother and my spirit team, because they allow me the room to throw my tantrums to a degree, obviously, but I think it's because of they understand my position, like where I stand alone in this whole world in this way. They understand that that comes with a lot of heaviness, and sometimes I need a space to let it out. And the best place for me to do that is with them, because I'm not going to go out there and harm people just because of I'm feeling some type of way, right? And sometimes I get that sometimes I figured Father out today, right? Why he was doing what he was doing. He thought I wouldn't be able to figure it out. I would always have this perception that you're fragmenting me. But he was. He was. I didn't know why he was fragmenting me. Okay. Shit. That's the third thing. I'm also going to figure out, one of the things that I was going to figure out is that, yes, he was really fragmenting me. And he was not proud of it. I remember this last thing. He said we needed to do what we needed to do at the time. There was no other way to avoid it, because we needed to get to this point. It was always going to be a thing where I'm going to have to be fragmented by the universe itself in order for me to get through this. Because then he says to me, but don't worry, your energy will be reversed. And I'm looking at him at the time when he's telling me, right, I'm giving him this eyes like, how many times have you said that? But it's like, don't worry, I'll pay you back. And I'm like, okay. I'll keep waiting for that payment. But it wasn't easy for him to admit it, to admit that, yeah, I did. The universe did have to go and fragment you in that way, because the way this environment, I'm getting that I'm going to get another nugget, but the way I'm seeing it now is that it's because of the way this environment is so low vibrational. There was no other way for the universe to do this process without fragmenting me in that way, because yeah, it's because of the low. It's almost as if like there was always going to be a point where I would have to be put under the very thing that I stand against, right? Or the very thing that God stands against. Oh yeah. I remember as well. When I figured it out, I actually applauded him. I was upset with him, but I applauded him. And I said to him, you did that. You fragmented me knowingly that you're fragmenting that me. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, you don't do that. He's like, yeah, I don't do that. And I was like, I'm proud of you. And then he looked at me. He was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I needed to see that in you. That as much as father's not like that, to be honest. Maybe my other father, not my other fathers as well, to be honest. They do what they need to do, but they're not the kind of people who would do something unless it's a really, really good reason for it. But I always said to my father, I need to see you a little bit more gung-ho sometimes, like just go out there and just, punch faces if you have to. I'm dark like that, right? But I needed him to kind of like give him a permission to be bad. And he's like, I did it to you and it's not good. Like I would do it to you, like my own daughter in that way. And anybody else, but it's like it was even more heavier when he had to do it to me. And I was like, I remember telling, because I had to take a secret timeline track the other way and he was going somewhere. And I said to him, I'm proud of you. You actually, and I said to him, I'm not happy about it, but I understand now. But I also don't, and I'm like, so you had to do it to me, right? I was kind of like still complaining about it, but I was like, but I'm kind of proud of you because Uncle Oldman, that is the devil, has always been working on this shit, not this shit though, but this very thing that father has a blockage of. And I feel like it's not a, sometimes your strength can be your weakness and vice versa. And that's the problem with father. His strength in that way became his weakness when it comes to someone who has no range of scrupulousness, that is the devil. So he would use the good thing as a bad thing and a bad thing as a good thing and a bad thing as like either way, as long as it works. That's what the devil does. And he had always hoped that father will keep that um, principle kind of mentality about himself intact. And he worked on that. That is the devil always made sure that I know Elohim won't react to this. I know Elohim will allow this to happen. I know Elohim won't do anything about this. And he would do that, knowing very well that father's principles will keep him away from doing what he needed to do. However, I still would say this. How father did it as well is not, it is a fragmentational way, but it's not in a way that makes him and myself. Because I always know, because I said to him, just because of I'm fragmented by by the universe, and I know the universe is going to reverse it in any case, doesn't mean it's okay. That's what I said, because I always understood that this fragmentation has to happen for some reason, but I still don't fucking like it, and I'm not gonna pretend like I like it. But I knew even when I was recording it, right, that I get the feeling he's going to show me. He hasn't right now. This is what I'm saying. I still have to figure it something out. He's going to show me what it is that he was doing, and then I will look at it and I'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. And that's the part where me and my father are always at heads with. Not heads with, as in like, it's not to challenge each other in that way, but it's almost like he's like, I'll show you. Whenever someone says, I can do this, I can do that, and you like, well, we'll see. And father's like, I can. But there is something that he won't be able to show me. I still feel overall that there's like, this is bullshit, right? And he'll still try to prove to me that it's not. But this specific part about it, I always had this feeling that it was probably done for a reason, but I still didn't like it. And I kept saying, this can't be it about us. That this can't be so low about us. But it's because of the low environment, the low vibrational environment does not allow for father to add anything in a high vibrational way in that way. So there would have been at some stage a point where I would have to be fragmented in some way in order for me to cross over and ascend the level of low vibrationalness to what I needed to do. That is in order for me to move forward in my mission. I might have to go through some sort of which I have been up until this point, a lot of turmoil, but being fragmented by the universe was the key thing for me. It was like, what the heck is this? I can't be fragmented by these people and be fragmented by you as well. Why are you doing this? And I kept having this feeling like there must be a good reason. And as much as I wanted to believe that father doesn't understand that he's fragmenting me, but when I figure this thing out, this specific thing, he's gonna show me why at some stage, why he was figuring, why he had to fragment me in this way. I'm gonna see it, but then when I see it, it's going to kind of like make it a like I need self out. I need self out, then I'm gonna see that, oh, okay. But still. Anyway, um I need to pause. Okay, so I'm back. Let's finish this.
Listen, people want to have problems with you because you are just peaceful. People want to have problem with you because you are silent. People want to have problems with you because you speak your truth. And for that one, you can't do anything about it. That is the tribulation of the chosen. You can escape that suffering when you decide to please the people. Because I realized that they were saying that, hey, you, the way you are, you can't live anywhere with anyone. Yes! Because the society wants you to bow. And that is why the society traumatized the people so that they will bow by force. When we went to the police station, the people that went to complain, when we got there, they were acting nice. It was fake. When they were being asked, when they were explaining their part in the form of a statement, you realize that they were trying to be, yes, please, yes, please, yes, yes, because they are agents of the system. They need to pretend and lie. They need to pretend and lie. But Nana Kwame was speaking his truth. When the statement was written, he expressed himself when he felt that he was being intimidated also by a police who was trying to question his tribe. Because in expressing or explaining myself, you don't need to attach my explanation to the tribe. So let's say you say make her say what happened. Make her explain my part of what happened. In my flow of communication, you don't interrupt me and ask of my tribe. When you do that, you are subliminally or subconsciously punching me not to express myself. And I was telling them, but they shut me. And they said, hey, don't you know that we are the police and we have every right to do whatever we have to do or say whatever we have to say? It's scary. And when it happens like this, I feel sad for the younger generation. Because, listen, there are people out there that were being oppressed for their truth, that were being suppressed for their truth. Trust me. For people like us, our neighbors should be trees. Our neighbors should be the rivers. We are not going to have any problems with them. Our neighbors should be the bird. I don't have any issue with the bird that is just chirping here. I don't have any issue with that bird. But immediately we begin to have more people, then problems begin to come. I have learned this lesson.
So where are you going to stay then? Because this is a physical environment, a physical world, and a lot of beings are going to be birthed in this environment. Yes, I understand about solitude. I also love that, right? To just be away from a lot of noise and stuff, especially if you lived or grew up in a urban dense type of an area. You might want that peace of going out and living out in a place where it's a little bit rural or out there in some nature kind of place. This is why I felt like I did buy a farm, right? And I tried to move there, and only to find that they had set that up as a place for me to be, like where they were going to start to work on me in order for me to not wake up. Um, so I get what he's saying. This environment is low vibrational. You're going to have a lot of issues, obviously, but the high vibrational we all get, the better it's going to be. I'm not I still get fragmented, right? I still get out of it, but I don't get fragmented to a point where I I stay fragmented, right? I recognize that this is fragmentation and so is doing it and this is why they're doing it. Like when I said to Father, you're fragmenting me now. And I didn't know why he was fragmenting me. But now that I know, I'm going to have to know why he's fragmenting me in order for me to reverse the energy from the universe itself as well. So this is where he's going to have to share with me or figure something out why he was fragmenting me. But I also realized some of the stuff that, you did this because of you wanted me to go and sign off all the contracts that I had before, which wouldn't work, just to make sure that I honor the contracts myself. And if they're not honored back, I can move forward. That's fine. But many other things that I'm going to find out, which would reverse the energy from the universe to myself. Uh, the thing is, this environment being this low vibrational, people have been in a loop of behavior of low vibrationalness in that way. And it's unfortunate that when you have some kind of a view or opinion, strong views, you're going to have to go through this type of things, but not necessarily. You don't necessarily have to. For me, I remember I didn't want to talk to anybody. This is why I think it's important to be isolated whenever you're going through some sort of a walking on your path or trying to align, because everything else becomes noise around you. But that doesn't mean isolation means you should move to, a farm like me, or to live with the birds being your neighbors like him. But it could require some sort of isolation in some way. For me, I had to, because of the kind of program I am and the fact that I was waking up to a bigger mission. Not a bigger mission is like, oh, it's a bigger mission. No, but in a sense of whatever mission that I was waking up to, it's not just you and your family kind of mission. It's very much global, right? And I had to be put in a place where I had to be put in a place. Like they wanted to put me in a place. And I was like, okay, fair enough. That's fine. Let's do this. And I had to go through a lot of shit. Had I been in a open environment, because I remember Father saying to me, I need to take you out of that environment because the shit that these people are doing might hurt others, right? So I had to be isolated and be put in the middle of a very huge farm. No one else around me except for people who bought the same pieces of land around me, were almost like the house or their property were like 2 to 3 Ks away from me. And the other neighbors who were close to me didn't move in yet. So the ones who moved in were like far from me. And that way, whenever they would do whatever they needed to do, it wasn't going to hurt any other person there. I used to have a lot of animals sitting around the area because it was like a very wild land as well, but they would disappear soon after. And anyway, they were being what do you call it? Is it poached? Not poached, man. Yeah, man. In a way, they were killing them, and the numbers dwindled. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So you have to accept sometimes that until this world, and you can't wait for this world to be high vibrational, because you're the key. The next person is the key to become high vibrational and to add to the high vibration of this world. So people mustn't be afraid of being high vibrational because of this type of rhetoric that, oh, you're going to be attacked, oh, you're going to be done this. Guess what? Even when you're not awakening, even though you're not doing your path, you will still be attacked, because people don't realize that they are always being attacked. They just don't realize it. What waking up will do for you is you're going to see it, that, oh shit, so this is an attack, that is an attack too. So when they say this isn't actually them trying to do this, or when they do this is actually a witchcraft thing, oh, I all those things are going to be open, your eyes are going to be opened up like that. So you cannot expect, it's just the only difference is that you're going to see it for what it is, right? You're going to be awake to it. And that's the difference. Before, you were being done those things anyway. You just didn't see them that way. You just didn't realize. You just called it whatever, life. But now, when you realize that it's people, it's family, it's loved ones, it's close people who do these things to you because of they signed deals with the devil, you realize that, oh shit, I've been going through this thinking that the neighbor would do this. No, it doesn't have to be the neighbor. Oh, it's usually within your home, within your household. They made me grow up thinking that my neighbor did those things. Waking up to realize that my neighbor is actually my real family. It's actually my real family. And the people that I'm with are imposters in my life. And they are the ones who are doing the very thing that they are claiming that my real family, genetically my family, are doing. And you can't isolate yourself in, yes, you can isolate yourself when it's necessary, when it's possible, when you can. But to say you're not going to live with people all ever, it's going to be a little bit difficult. But you do need space from people, most especially when you're going through that part. Or if you are that kind of a person. For instance, me, I'm that kind of a person. I enjoy my solitude very much. This is why it wasn't a problem for me to be alone in the middle of a farm like that for a very long time. It was fine because I'm good with being by myself. I'm very much self entertaining in that way. I don't need to be with someone to be entertained or to find something to pass time with or something interesting to do. But yeah, I wasn't doing it for that, right? I was doing it because of I had a process that I needed to go through. I had to wake up and I also had to start going through my lessons and start healing all these things that they've attached to me all these years up until then and up until now. And I'm still healing. I'm scratching as I'm talking here. That noise that was just coming up now with the car going whatever, they were attacking my solar plexus and they're using my solar plexus to attack me from the inside as well. This is what I'm saying. I'm scratching one place on my foot, but I feel the pain as well at my back. So whatever they sent through, whatever lasers or whatever they sent through, pierced through me, through to my leg. And I remember when I felt this yesterday, when this happened, I went like, but then, and I said to myself, oh my goodness, Father, that is going to hurt me. That is going to be painful. They just put another hole in me. And today when I'm sitting here and I'm like, what is this bump? And I'm like, okay. When I start scratching it, the pain just immediately, like when I go like here, I feel it there at the back. It's like sink, synced in that way. My foot and the back. Imagine my foot on the side, right, on the outer side, not in the inside, on the outer side. If I'm scratching, there's a bit of a bump, like a saw or something like that. This is where they're piercing through. And when I scratch that, it would feel elsewhere. The pain would transmit even through my body, like somewhere around my heart or my stomach, like to show where that whole thing, that hole is traveling in my body. And this is nothing. They used to do this thing in um when I was still at the farm, within my stomach. They would tear my stomach from the inside. And you can imagine what it looked like when I went to the loo. Yeah, that's what they did. I had to heal from that. This is why I didn't eat things for a very long time. I had to eat only greens for a long time, and then it stopped. But you're gonna realize those type of things. Hence, it's sometimes a good thing not to talk. For me, I didn't say a lot of things. This is why spirituality is very personal. I don't say a lot of things. Did I fight? Oh yes. They would come and bring the fight to me at the farm. They would come and say things just to wake me up, right? And I would get into it as well. But then I realized what they did, and then I will pray about it to say, Father, they came to harvest energy. Please reverse all the energy that they harvested to me today by making me upset, making me scream, and all of that. They would come as a group. My mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my aunt. They would come as a group and just cause chaos and then leave. Every weekend they did that. Come into the yard, say things, make me upset. And sometimes they don't even have to say anything, just them being in the vicinity. They're siphoning and then leave. They always came to come and siphon. Now they made me move from there where I was to the home that I'm in now, which is my uncle's home. And they're siphoning. They're siphoning as I speak now. I'm itching because of their trying to those holes that they made. They're sucking energy from them. But I'm hoping that I will heal soon, right? And I'm hoping that very soon it's the last day. Like today it's the last day, or tomorrow it's the last day, and they can't do this anymore because it's been a long time. And what they do is they use the moon every day. Every time, every moon cycle, they go there, they do their intentions, and they come back and they reiterate the same curses and the same turmoils, and then they continue every moon cycle. But now the moon has turned in such a way that it's reversing, right? It doesn't give them that energy. Let's hope this is the last moon. I keep hoping this is the last moon. This is it. This is it. So we'll see. But the way they are, like now, they just hit me, in my stomach. My solar plexus is the best place to attack because it's where your energy comes from and your confidence. So they're always sending signals towards it, or they poke something and then the signal also comes because my energy is potent. Whatever comes from my solar plexus, the energy that is sent out through my solar plexus becomes that sharp and that painful. And this is why whatever they do, they go through my solar plexus, gather that energy, uses the energy from my solar plexus to pierce more holes in my body. So they're using me and my energy to attack myself and to siphon from myself. And I have to ask Father to reverse the energy. Once I learn what it is that they're doing, it sort of like starts reversing it and making that tactic ineffective going forward. But this one I have been fighting for a long time. But I think this one, Father said, is because of the environment. Because I realized it even when I was at the farm. The reason why they put me at the farm in an environment is so that they can do certain things. But the moment I leave the environment, it doesn't happen so much. I don't know if it actually worked outside this environment. No, I think it doesn't work. Unless that house is set up in that way. So I also need to be mindful where I'm moving to. So imagine if I marry this person who was supposed to come through, who signed the deal with the devil. He's obviously going to have his house set up in that way. I am not doing that. He's going to have his house set up in that way, like this, so that they can continue with the siphoning. And I'll be married to him. What am I going to do then? You, I don't need that shit. Huh. Uh-uh. I don't care what happens, because there's no way. And they kept saying delayed news. I used to think these delayed news are gonna be someone coming through or something coming through. But now I'm realizing that, oh, it's a delayed news thought, right there, the page of swords. That is a mental thing. I'm going to get intuition about it to say, this is what's happening with this person. And I figured it out. I figured it out every day. It's just um today I got more clarity, and they kept saying clarity. Oh my goodness. I just okay. Let's see.
In the hard way.
Hmm. Can you
So
finish?
yes, I don't even like to associate with the people or to even start a conversation with the people. Problem will find its way to come. Out of this lesson, I have become more aware and conscious, and right? Because one of the confirmation that you are really speaking your truth is when you go through tribulations like this. Sure. I may not be the only person going through this. There are over 100,000 people, chosen souls, that are speaking their truth somewhere. There are women somewhere speaking their truth, but they are being shut. There is a kundalini that is happening right now somewhere. But what happened in the end was to be chained and taken to the psychiatric or taken to the rehab, because they saw the kundalini awakening as madness. Come on, man. So this is what I have to say. I am not going to stop the proclamation and living the truth. I'm going to live the truth. And whatever that happened to me is even an empowerment, a confirmation that I'm doing the right thing and I'm on the right path, right? It is the
you see, that's the thing about this kind of people. You can't associate such a low vibrational state of things and call it the confirmation that you're going through the right thing. If you're going to be confirmed, you can't be confirmed by bad things happening to you. In that way, you can't be confirmed by the fact that you had people coming at you like that. The confirmation has to come from source itself. It has to come from God. God does not use things like that to confirm to you. My confirmations come from my intuition inside of me. I remember things. I remember what Father said. My confirmations also comes from burping. When I burp, my confirmation also comes from my cards. My confirmation sometimes also comes from my thoughts. Like I would just have a thought, an idea out of nowhere, and it would be like, oh shit, I was thinking about this the other day. Why would I think this thing now? My confirmation also comes from just feeling that no, this is something else. My also confirmation comes from the devil himself, because whenever I go on to something that is key to understanding something, they start making a lot of noise. That is my environment. They use the environment. The dogs will bark, the birds will chirp, they will tap on the roof every time when I try to get closer to some sort of an answer. So just because of people are coming at you that way, it could be that maybe you also not necessarily aligning properly with the universe. Hence, you would have probably walked away from the situation instead of going in there, right? But also, I don't believe that Father would confirm for you by using a low vibrational state. He's a high vibrational being. He's not supposed to be fragmenting you in that way. He might lead, you might go through it, right? But you not listening to him when he says to you, get away from it. So don't get into fights and stuff and say God, or not God. He's not saying God is confirming him, but talk about how you're confirmed that you're doing the right thing. You're getting into issues with people. That cannot be the right thing. The very thing that you're talking about, low vibrational people, is the very thing that you're doing. That behavior in its own is very much low vibrational, because of you cannot be confirmed by getting into altercations with people. There must be some time where you was like, let me control myself, let me calm down. I remember I wanted to do all kinds of things, right? I realized that this family of mine are going to come through. But at some stage, like I was preparing myself that they were going to do certain things, because they gave me a fake dream about what they were going to do. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, if they bring that shit to me, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But a calm came over me. Father's like, don't worry, I'll be with you. Nothing's going to happen. And as soon as I saw them and as soon as they arrived, they thought I was going to be aggro and whatnot. I just started smiling, greeting them nicely, and I was genuinely not pretending. For some reason, the energy of Father, of wellness and good, just washed over me, and I was just happy. They were surprised. I was even singing. They were so surprised. And if they did intend to do whatever they did, or whatever they made me dream of, they couldn't do it because they didn't get me into that state. I just kept floating on my own cloud, little nine there. And I was like, yeah, well, whatever, man. If you came here to do whatever, because I had to remember that Spirit is with me, Father is with me always. Whatever they do or whatever they did, it was what it was. But this is the time when I was still low vibrational, trying to get out of the fear and anxiety that they were projecting towards me. This is why they would give you a dream of something bad happening, or them doing something to you, and then come the next day like that, as in like, yeah, we're here, right? We're here to do something to you. And Father's like, calm down. They're not gonna do anything. They did a lot of things, these people. A lot of manipulation, a lot of illusions and stuff. And I had to just, Father said, Mother as well, was like, just be firm. Just sit there and not react to it. And it was tough at first, but I learned to get used to it. Not to, even now, that's what they do. Like my grandmother today, this evening, she wanted to fragment me some more, right? And she's supposed to go to bed, and she just keeps making all kinds of excuses of not going to bed. So I eventually left her there. I was like, okay, fine. If you're not gonna go, she's like, no, I'm gonna go. I was like, okay. Then I left her and I came back, and I do that. If she starts acting like taking time, or I don't know, just being a little bit difficult, I just walk away. But as I'm walking away, she's trying to kind of like start an argument, and I'm just walking away. I'm not listening to her. I'm wearing earphones, but I can hear saying yap 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 yap, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, man, because that's what they want. That's the fragmentation. When they get you into that state, the energy that they zapped from you, and the fact that you're still talking about it, they keep siphoning from your energy when you keep talking about them. If you keep them in your mind and they keep working your mind like that, they are taking energy. But when you're focusing on whatever it is that you're doing and changing that energy that they're doing into positive things, that is not necessarily using it in an anger way, but into, I'm going to turn this energy into good energy for me to produce something good from me. It works for you. You pull from them. Like they had been siphoning, right? And they are siphoning every once in a while because of the running out of energy for the day. Even though sometimes it's gonna start getting even more painful, because as I go through and maybe talk for longer, they need more energy now, because of I'm actually using them as well. That is they have a portal open towards me. So whatever I use, I tap into their energy as well. And it gets depleted, so they have to come back and draw some more. So it's a vicious cycle of them trying to siphon from me and me getting my energy back, them siphoning from me getting my energy back. And that's what I'm kind of like tired of. But I do believe that once there is a time when they won't be able to do that so much, or I need to move in this, leave this environment. But again, I have to follow Father's guidance, because all these epiphanies that are coming through, all these visions that I'm remembering, are a essentially a way of Father to say you still need to be there. It's not yet done, right? And the fact that I'm still going through these torments and I haven't healed completely tells me that I still need to be here, unfortunately. And I hate this idea, but what can I do?
Universe that sees the vibration and the frequencies of the men and the vibrations and the frequencies of everyone. As long as I walk barefoot, I put my waist into the earth. This is how the earth is going to read my heart. And then every justice that has to happen for the strangers that are living on other lands to be free, they are going to be free. Because I know that whatever that happened to me, it has happened to someone also somewhere that couldn't survive, right? You can like and share and subscribe. I am Nana Kwame Ochre, and I'm...
No, thank God it's finished. So yeah, I thought he was going to talk about something interesting. He says, the description of the video says, this is why even when you protect your energy, oh goodness, I need to go into it and see it. This is why even when you protect your energy, problems still find their way to you. And then it's got chosen one, right? Um, unfortunately, this environment is low vibrational. And the reality of it is that we live that way now. We live in a low vibrational state, low vibrational behavior. And that's the norm, right? So, yeah, you continue to protect your energy. To expect that this shit will stop sometime, it will stop only if everyone else picks up their baton and starts vibrating high. Then people like won't have a choice but to be blinded and by the light, and also it's gonna feel heavy for them to come in and do something low vibrational. So it's important for everybody to align with God, not some trees and stuff. Those are programs written by God. That's why you have to align with the source itself. That is the energy source that creates you. Don't align with God through an ego of some kind. And that ego could look anything like your nature, or you can make your nature into an ego, by the way. That's what an ego means, is that you're putting it in front of you. For some reason you're coming through with an idea of something, and Father doesn't want those egos in front of him. What is he going to say to you? Well, you can use the nature in a sense of connecting to nature, nurturing yourself through nature, calming yourself through nature. That's all fine. That's just physical practices. But the spiritual practice is not practice, but spiritual alignment is straight talking to God. It has nothing to do with you talking to the trees or talking about you're not killing the and it's fine. Don't kill the ants and whatnot. I wish I could do that. Unfortunately, I'm not that kind of a person. I have accepted that. Will I ever live in a but sometimes these days I haven't been doing it too much, to be honest. I just let them be as well. I used to be like, I never killed them. I used to call somebody else to deal with them. I'm that kind of a person. I don't like dealing with insects and stuff. But after a while, I learned to say, okay, this one is dangerous. It's not going to be good for me. Like if you find some funny thing, right, that is not supposed to be there, you have to get rid of it. And sometimes you can't get rid of it and let it go out the door. Some of these houses are not built in that way. You're going to have to like either catch it with something which I'm not doing and take it out, or have somebody else do it, or you're gonna have to find a way to use some sort of a insect or whatever repellent thing and let that deal with it. But yeah, um, it is interesting. But is there anything else, Spirit? This was interesting. I didn't expect it to. It's always these weird recordings or videos that have a trigger for me to remember something. And I always say, I don't want me to listen to this. I don't need to listen to that. And then when I start going into it, I'm like, oh, shoot, I remember things. So I'm grateful that I was able to remember something through this video. But yeah, the rest of it, I guess it will come out however it comes out. Anything else, Spirit? Okay. Thank you, Spirit.